Justin Trudeau is out, but Khalistani terrorism and extremism surely isn't out in Canada. Instead, the K-terror threat is only thriving under Prime Minister Mark Carney. In fact, just this week, there have been shots that have been fired at comedian Kapil Sharma's up-and-coming new restaurant in Surrey in British Columbia. Harjeet Singh, linked to terror outfit Babbar Khalsa International, has claimed responsibility for the attack, accusing Sharma of hurting Khalistani sentiments. It's clear that Prime Minister Mark Carney is failing the K-terror test. Let's take a look at this report that tells you more.
I'm standing on the 120th Street in Surrey in Canada, where comedian Kapil Sharma recently started his new venture, Café. And here's Café right behind us, which has had a bit of a shaky start, considering that there was a shooting incident that took place right outside this restaurant on the morning of the 10th of July. The Surrey police say that they got a call at around 1:50 a.m. Saying that there was a shooting that has taken place outside this restaurant. In fact, I will take you exactly to the location where you can see the damage to the property, and the staff was still inside the restaurant at that time. However, none of the staff were injured. That is what the Surrey police press release clearly says. And here is the damage to the property. As you can see, glass shards lying there all over the place, with 3 windows, glass windows, that have been badly damaged because of the shooting that took place from right across the street over here. So it's this street behind me. This is the place where the assailants are believed to have come in a car, and they fired 8 rounds right across here, and the shots ended up damaging the property. As you can see clearly, this is the state of the building at the moment, with the establishment staff being pretty shaken up because of that. As of now, of course, this restaurant is closed because of this shooting incident. Now, while the Surrey police say that its frontline investigation support team is now going to look at this incident, this matter further, to see whether there were any past incidents that could be associated with this one, or what the motive could be behind the shooting. That's what they will investigate.
All right, we got you a ground report to tell you what really happened. Now let's talk about why this religious extremism, this complete intolerance, continues to thrive with a pattern of such instances that we tell you, viewers. Let's put that out one by one as to why this continues to happen in Canada. Now, bullets fired at Kapil Sharma's Café hit with 9 shots. This is the latest that has happened. Let's move ahead, tell you some of the other instances where Khalistanis continue to completely ensure that the law and order situation in Canada is almost under their control. Now, the BC legislature, the British Columbia legislature, honored pro-Khalistani singer Jazzy B. There were red carpets that were actually rolled out for these singers. There was major applause, indicating that there is almost like a fan base that these Khalistanis have in Canada. Then we're going to talk later about what Mark Carney needs to do to ensure he addresses some of India's concerns. Next, Modi effigies were cage-rolled in Khalistani rallies. This happened. All this is recent, viewers. This is a pattern that continues even after there's been a change of guard. But this pattern continues. Let's talk about the Toronto hate parade. This is the one. The next is the MP photo ops, where you have MPs like Sukhi Dhaliwal who are seen with Khalistani flags. And this happens in broad daylight, even as India-Canada relationship gets impacted because of this. Because this fan base is what is fanning the latest attack that took place at Kapil Sharma's Café. And lastly, let's put out the fact that the Canadian top intel agency, CSIS, has actually warned that there are these deep Khalistani networks that are active on Canadian soil. No action is being taken. Why no action is being taken? And most importantly, how is it then going to ensure that the India-Canada relationship recovers? Because it was the Khalistani issue that ruptured that relationship. Let's get in Terry Milewski to talk more on this and to understand from him that how is it that the Canadian-Indian relationship can actually recover, given the fact that Khalistanis have a free rein, Terry, as far as Canadian soil is concerned. The latest attack on Kapil Sharma's Café proves that.
Thank you for the invitation. I think there's a little bit more to it than just a Khalistani operation being allowed by Canada to be directed from Germany by this character, Harjit Singh Ladi. I make that point because, sorry, but Prime Minister Carney is not the police chief in Germany. And if indeed we accept the claim of responsibility by this Baba Khalsa International operative, pretty well known, Ladi, then we've got to ask, well, what is Germany doing about him? What is India doing about him? As much as what is Canada doing about him? Having said that, two things can happen. First, it's not unusual, believe it or not, for street thugs to try to make themselves seem more important than they are by adopting a political coloration, saying, oh no, I'm not just some average thug running a protection racket by shooting up a restaurant and demanding money for protection. No, I'm more glamorous than that. I'm a political revolutionary. I'm fighting for an independent Khalistan. Well, I don't know if you believe that, but it's certainly happens.
This is not freedom of expression. This is not freedom of speech. This is complete vandalism, and these are all terror attacks, aren't they? And Canadian soil, and Canada is allowing all of it to happen.
Well, all I'm saying to you is that it's not just a Khalistani attack. You can give it that coloration if you accept their claims. I don't accept the claim that this guy Ladi necessarily has anything to do with it. He might be trying to look like a big shot by claiming responsibility. But we also know that there have been a series of events, as you rightly noted, of a similar nature, which turn out to be straight extortion attempts. It's a protection racket. This is back to the 1930s, where the mafia boss walks into your restaurant, says, nice place you have here, shame if something happened to it. Pay me and I'll protect you from me. So that's what's going on just as much as the Khalistani thing. I'm not saying to you that the Khalistani element isn't important and that the government needs to do something about it. You rightly point the finger at MP Sukh Dhaliwal. I don't know why the Liberal Party of Canada still has him as a member with his record of kissing up to the Khalistanis.
And in fact, they got rid of Chandra Arya, who wanted to address this issue. I'm going to leave it there. Terry Milewski, thanks much for speaking to us. I know it's early morning in Canada, but thanks much for speaking to us. Well, viewers, in the past 4 months, Prime Minister Mark Carney has not taken any concrete steps to rein in the issue. Neither has he made any specific remarks on this matter indicating his intent. The recent attack is clear proof, with the culprit still on the loose. Carney is brushing this issue under the carpet. Moreover, he is silencing anyone who's raising concerns over the matter. Canadian MP Chandra Arya, who's spoken about it, he's spoken against the Khalistani extremism, has been sidelined by the Liberal Party. Yet he continues to push for a reset in ties between Ottawa and New Delhi. Mark Carney met Prime Minister Modi on the sidelines of the G7 summit last month. He agreed to re-establish high commissioners. He agreed that the relationship should come back. But the bitterness of the recurrent terror attacks against the Indian diaspora in Canada remains. New Delhi must make it clear to Ottawa that there cannot be a reset till the time these attacks are addressed. And that is something that Mark Carney needs to now prove. He needs to pass the K-terror test for the relationship with New Delhi to recover and come back to its original flourishing state.